Thanks, parents, for showing up to my session. I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. I've been a teacher and an administrator in Pinellas County since 2001. My last job was an administrator at Medellin Middle School, and I took the opportunity a couple of years ago to join a grant project in the district to help personalize learning with the help of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The pathway you're about to see is kind of the final piece of that that finally took hold and is about to be launched to all schools this year. The pathway is supposed to really put the information that students should know about themselves in their hands. A couple things about this is that it's only accessible by the students. So currently, when you start to see what it's about, it does not have a teacher portal or an administrator portal or a parent portal. The idea behind that is that the teacher or the administrator or the parent should be sitting with the student as they log on to kind of go over it together, because it's a very, even though it's digital and it's for the student, it still aligns with our thought process that every student in Pinellas County should have a caring adult to have conversations with them about preparing for the next level of their education. I am going to start with the screen here. This is a snapshot. I'm going to walk you through what it actually looks like. And if you joined my last seminar or just know because you're paying attention of a thing called Clever, this all takes place in Clever. It's a digital resource, and so we are trying to funnel all digital resources for students through clever.com. And that's really simple. It's our single sign-on. And when your student logs on to Clever, they're going to see the personalized learning pathway button. It's only currently active for school students right now, but we're about to turn that switch on for middle school students as well. And so without much more, I'm going to share an application. Oh, I guess the most important thing, I'm going to start with the way back, how this all began. So can you guys see this, Sheila? I won't be able to see it while I'm sharing.
Yes, I can see the changed screen now.
Okay. But the picture within the picture is not showing up for some reason. So I might just skip. Oh. Can you see the screenshot of the wireframe? Or is it just a blank white screen?
It's just a blank white screen with the toolbar on top.
Okay, well, let's try another one. So apparently I can't share OneNote on this feature, but it did essentially start as a blank screen. So let's just stick with that. So it started as a thought. It started as a conversation between myself and one of my colleagues, Kevin Hagebrook, who is a digital integrator last year at this time. And we went down to Lakewood High School and asked them if they could create something for us just by with what we were explaining to them about a learner profile. And so I was going to show you some older versions of what it turned into. But again, here's Clever. And here's all the buttons. So this is my niece's account because you have to be in a student's account. I'm going to click on the PLP button. And now you are on Megan's personalized learning platform. I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit. And so it essentially has 5 columns. On the left side here, there is a about me section. So from whenever a student begins accessing this, and we are going to have a grade 3 to 5 version of this launched in the fall, The students of Lakewood are going to work on it again this summer with Kevin and myself. But essentially, if they start adding things about themselves in this section, they will continue with them grade level after grade level. So we have a spot for hobbies and clubs, achievements, volunteering, work experience, some personal goals, and then their support team, going back to that um, part about having a caring adult being your support. This could be family, this could be a teacher, this could be your take stock in children, mentor, anybody that you think is kind of on your support team. We want you to add them in here. And so that is that column. In the second and third column, there is mathematics and language arts. Now, the idea to get to your next level of education, whether it's to graduate high school and go beyond, we are judged by standards. Like our teachers are meant to teach our students standards. And the two gatekeeper content areas usually to get to the next level, to get to college, to get to a career technical program is your math and your language arts. Those are our basic cores, so that's why we included them first. We're hoping to add more in the future iterations of this platform. But if a student wants to get better in math and language arts, they can come here essentially on their own time. Now, best case scenario is you're in class with a good solid teacher and you're learning. But when a teacher is not available before or after school or over winter, summer breaks, you can use this platform. Maybe you get tutoring at the local rec center or church, and you have a tutor or a mentor there that is a real great person, is a great motivator, but they are not a certified language arts teacher. You can come here and work on lessons that cover every standard in language arts. And when they click on any of these links, we've had our teachers build lessons here that go through. So this one is describing, in this playlist, students will learn how to cite strong and throw textual evidence and support their claims about what the text says. So this is a 9th and 10th grade lesson that a student could work on to get better at that particular standard. And so each one of them has that. And the reason they're colored here is because on your last state exam, if you did not hit the high mark on that cluster, it'll show up red. And if you did well, it would show up green. So the idea is to work on the red ones first, and then if you have time, work on the green ones. In the fourth column, it's called the path to graduation. That is the column that correlates with the bottom here. So general information, things that students probably want to know about themselves, like right now. Their unweighted GPA, the one that matters for graduation. So if you hover over it, it says you're on track to graduate. Now you only need a 2.0 to graduate from high school. So hers is in the green and it says she's on track. Her credits are green and it says you're on track to graduate. She passed the algebra EOC, she passed FSA reading, and so she's on track in the general sense of graduating. And then you can see most of her tabs, ELA, math, science, art, electives. Every time I push on one of those buttons, the bottom changes and it shows how many science credits she's earned, are required, how many earned remaining, and how many she's enrolled in. So that's just a nice quick snapshot that if those were red or yellow, she might want to contact her guidance counselor. So again, online course is there, and the Hope course. So we're working on the Hope. Some of the students, like my niece here, she's in ROTC, so her Hope requirement was waived. So we're working on that piece. On the farthest column, we have for high school students, college and career readiness. And the standards that we use are the PSAT and the SAT scores. So you can drop those down and get your most recent scores. There's also industry certifications that starting in middle school, students can earn those. My niece is not in a career technical program. She has not taken any industry certification tests, so right now hers are empty. And then advanced coursework, if your student has taken any AP or dual enrollment courses, they will show up there. And then at the bottom in the corner, it's kind of like a circular loop here. So if you're on your platform, you can easily get right back to Clever. And if you're in Clever, you can get right into the pathway. And while we're in Clever, I like to always share this, a small piece. Actually, before I do that, was there, Sheila, were there any questions in the chat? Did anyone have any questions while we were?
The only question was, should all students already have a Clever account or login? And I answered that yes, they use their PCS username and password.
Cool. Well, maybe I always like to hit on that while I have some people's attention. So for parents that might never have seen inside of Clever, especially since I'm talking to middle and high school parents probably mostly tonight, because our middle and high school students don't use Clever as often as elementary students. Elementary students use it every day. So parents in elementary are a little more familiar with it. But so this is what it looks like. All of their digital resources, including Focus, where they go and check their grades, Office 365, which every student has an account for. Overdrive has free digital books that they can download. And then we always encourage our high school students, especially if they haven't taken the SAT or ACT yet, to get in there into the SAT practice and get some practice in that done. So what I want to do now is I'm going to log off of my niece and I'm going to log in as my daughter who's in middle school, just to show a quick preview of what that one is going to look like, because I knew there were some middle school parents here as well. So let me log out real quick. This might just take me a minute. So if there's any questions to type in the chat, you can do that right now. Give me 1 minute and I'll come right back. I'm still sharing, aren't I?
Yes, it's still sharing.
All right, I'll be right back.
Parents, feel free to, just type in anything that comes to mind, any question related to Clever or the personalized learner pathway, or anything in general right now. You've got a couple of resources here from the district, so we'll do our best to answer questions or to get back to you with those answers.
So another thing that goes along with this, if it looks like it's kind of like a guidance counselor help tool, it's kind of meant to be that way. We want to put that information in the hands of the students so they can be proactive and talk to a counselor to see if they are on track. If any of those, if they took the ACT or SAT and on their platform the score doesn't look like what they thought it was, they can make sure in Focus, because we get all this information from Focus and just display it nicely for students. You can check to make sure things are in there properly. We also have a new guidance counselor tool called e-counselor, where if you have a general guidance question, so say your student was on the platform and they were maybe noticing something was not right, you can always email the e-counselor that is staffed by a certified guidance counselor at Monday through Thursday in the evenings, and they'll respond back to most questions that you have. So we're coming back to the platform, and Sheila, it's showing properly, I hope.
It is now, yes.
Okay, so my daughter's a sixth grader, so it's not going to have a whole bunch of information in certain parts of this, but I want you just to see that the middle school version of this looks very similar to the high school version, except for a few small details. And that is, we took work experience out of the About Me section because I don't think it's legal for middle school students to be working yet. So I thought that was easy enough to knock out. But we have other things because plenty of achievements and volunteering opportunities and goals, and obviously a support team. The middle sections are also built out for the students to work through standards-based lesson plans built by Pinellas County school teachers. This is not something we just connected out to some website. These are lesson plans that are built as if you were sitting in front of the teacher that built them for you. So that's pretty well done. And instead of a sixth grader worrying about going to college, which still should be a conversation, everything is about your end goal, but in the short term, what do I need to do to get to high school? And so in middle school, it's fairly simple. To be promoted in high school to high school, you need to hit your 3 credits in your 4 core subject areas. And so, like I said, she's only a sixth grader, so she won't get her credits until the end of this school year. So if I click on her ELA, there's nothing in there yet, or her math or her science. So this will really just start filling in after this school year. But general information, she does have a GPA because her elective, when you're a sixth grader, you take a half a year elective. So she did earn a GPA for that. So that's why the GPA is there and nothing else is. And then over on the right-hand column, again, industry certifications are available for 6th to 8th graders. And honors coursework, I think once you get an honors, meaning once you start taking those high school level courses in your 8th grade year, they'll start showing up there. And for 8th graders, their PSAT scores will start showing up there as well. So that is the main difference. There's a few slight tweaks. So if you have a middle schooler, they can actually, starting next week, go into Clever and click and look at this if they so choose. We're going to start marketing it pretty heavily next week. We have a few videos that we want people to share in social media. We have our parent one done that I'm going to share the link with you guys. Sheila's going to email out all of the participants so you can watch the parent video, and please share it with as many people as you'd like to just spread the word on what it is. And we're also going to have a video for students by students, and for teachers by teachers on how to use this platform and have those conversations about being high school and college and career ready, and have this platform as a talking point. Whether it's the coach in the after school study hall session before practice, or if it's with the teacher in the AVID class that has time to talk about credits and next courses to take, or your guidance counselor, or anyone else that you meet with on a day-to-day basis at your school. So those are our platforms for middle and high school. The elementary school is going to have a much different flair to it. It's going to be much more elementary based, and we're going to think through that with elementary teachers, students, parents over the summer as we build it out. So Sheila, that is really my presentation of promoting what the personalized pathway is all about.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Rousseau, for the comprehensive look into the personalized learner pathway. We did have a couple of questions. The first one is, how often is the Clever data updated by the district or school? Probably that's the pathway data. Is that a live update kind of thing?
Yeah, so the data in the platform, depending on what it is, so the GPA is that semester. Um, any test score, SAT, ACT is monthly, and industry certifications are monthly. So we timed it for things that were more relevant to be more timely. There's nothing like overnight being updated because nothing on that screen is really that hypersensitive. All the things on the left-hand column that the students add about themselves, they add whenever they want. So that one's always live and you can always save things to it. But everything else on there is kind of timed with how often they're updated in real life. So grades are semester, credits are semester and yearly. So things like that.
Okay. Uh, Another question, is there any type of pathway that shows a total picture of what is needed for graduation from high school, including course options available to satisfy each requirement?
So technically, everything in that fourth column is all you need to graduate from high school. I know that's not what, I don't think that's what the full question was, but we do have documents and course catalogs that have all those things um, that you can flip through because there's a million courses that you can take to satisfy each one of those things, especially electives, obviously. Um, but if you want to do a 4-year plan, and most counselors, that's part of their job with ninth graders, and actually even in eighth grade, is to they go into classrooms and they kind of lay out the 4-year plan. We use there's two different programs that we use. One is called Career Cruising, and one is called Future Plans that Miss Brim just posted there. Um, so those are the ones that are the much deeper 4-year plan type of programs. Career Cruising and Future Plans uh, have that very in-depth. Future Plans is more about possible career paths. You take surveys and assessments on what kind of field you might be good at. Some of those career type surveys. Career Cruising they use in middle school, and the idea of that is to build out a 4-year high school plan of courses and opportunities and different pathways you can choose in high school. So I hope that helps.
Yes, and we also wanted to mention to Ms. Justice here who asked, and to the other parents as well, of course, one of our first webinars was actually targeting exactly what you're asking. It was entitled High School Course Scheduling, Graduation Pathways, and End of Course Exams. And it goes through the 4 pathways that we have here in Pinellas County Schools for graduation and what is required of each path. And I believe it has the options, like you're asking for course options to satisfy each requirement. So I'll go ahead and send the link out when I send the recording link out tomorrow to all the registered participants, but I'll highlight that, that particular webinar recording. And if there's I believe there's also a brochure in PDF format that we can share via the email tomorrow that will talk about the pathways.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to stress about our platform that we just showed is that it's meant to be a snapshot because we wanted a place where kids can just go really quickly and just get a good idea of what's needed and a place to practice their standards if they so choose, and to really trigger a deeper conversation with their guidance counselor, with their mentor. So if they wanted to go find all of this stuff, they could dive deep into Focus and go through a lot of different screens and databases and things, but we wanted to keep this platform very snapshot-like, quick, clean, but to lead you to things that you want to have conversations with your counselors and such.
One of the sections that I was particularly taken with was that About Me column. And as a parent of 3 children who've gone through Pinellas County schools and are all college graduates or about to graduate in college, the compilation of applications for the National Junior Honor Society, the National Honor Society, every other honor society available at the high school level, and clearly college applications would have been much simpler had we started that About Me, way back when, because it was a real chore to try to remember, when did you do this and what award was that and what hobbies were you in and clubs and activities, and if the students use that, that could be a really effective and efficient tool for them and for parents to support them.
Yeah, and people asked us if we would make like a exportable resume builder for that section, but there are too many ways to format resumes, and you want to add certain things and leave certain things off for whatever position or opportunity you have. So just to have a collection, like you just said, Sheila, of over the years to remember the place. And I'm sure you could put it somewhere else. We have a million devices and places to put stuff, but if it's in your place for your educational success and progression, then it's nice and sitting there for you, and you'll have it essentially K through 12. And then when you're ready to go apply for something, you have all the information and you can format it however you want. Nowadays, jobs don't even ask for actual resumes. They just ask you to link into your LinkedIn account sometimes. So again, the exportable thing, I don't think was like as high a priority as people thought it would be, but it's there. The information is what matters, and helping you remember it is what it was there for.
Absolutely.
I also posted the parent video. Sheila is going to add it into your email that she sends out, but there it is. It's the link. Please share it with anybody and everybody to spread the word around. I will be. So.
All right. If we don't have any more questions, I think we'll go ahead and sign off for tonight. We will, as I said, be sending out the webinar recording tomorrow. Please share it with other parents if you think they're interested. It will also be posted on our Parent Academy page, which is on the pcsb.org website. We have one more Parent Academy coming up. It's about anger management, and that will be Thursday. That's actually a face-to-face session at Lakewood Elementary School from 6 to 7. And then we'll have a full lineup of sessions for next year, both face-to-face and webinar formats. So thank you, families, for joining us. If you do end up with a question that you think of tonight that wasn't answered, please email me. I was the one who sent you the webinar link, so please dig that out of your deleted messages, and you could use that, and always correspond with me about this and any other topic you might think of. I'm there for you guys. Thanks again, everyone. Have a nice rest of your evening.